Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Amber. I'm with the A ingredient. I am the A ingredient, rather. Tonight I'm going to show you how to make a seafood risotto. I listed all the ingredients that you need on my page, I think earlier in the week, Monday or Tuesday, so now I'm just going to walk you through the steps. In this back pot here, I have about 4 cups of seafood stock that I'm just keeping warm. I'm assuming we'll use 2 or 3 cups of it, and then we'll just put the rest back in the fridge. In this front pot, I have about 1/3 cup of olive oil, and I use shallot. I put on the recipe list, use a small onion. You can use a shallot, onion, whatever you have in your pantry. So I just minced that up, and I am just going to start cooking that in the olive oil until it starts to become translucent. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. The next stage of this is going to be to add about 3 tablespoons of butter, and then we're going to add our rice. I'm doing 1 1/3 cup of arborio rice. This is enough for about 4 people, or will be enough for about 4 people. About 1/3. You're going to cook the onion or shallot for about 3 to 5 minutes. I already kind of had this going before the video started. And now I'm going to add in my butter. Once the butter melts, I'm going to add in the 1 1/3 cup of arborio rice. I pre-measured this. Just add it all in. Just going to mix this till all the grains of rice are covered with the onion, butter, olive oil mixture. And we're going to let that cook for about a minute or so. The rice will start to become translucent. And then at that point, we're going to add in the diced tomatoes. It's about a 1/2 cup of diced tomatoes I got from the can. Perfect. I'll show you what this looks like. Hi Carrie, I love fish sticks. I think that's great. Either way, it's fish. Happy Lenten Friday. All right, so I'm going to let this cook for a little bit longer. Okay, this is looking good. And actually, I misspoke. I'm going to add the wine before I add the tomato. So this is 1/2 cup of a dry white wine. This is a Chardonnay. I just grab whatever white wine we have. As long as it's not sweet, you're good. We're going to add that in, and we're going to let that cook off until most of the liquid is gone, keeping that on medium heat. We just want the alcohol to cook off. We want to keep the flavor of the wine. Add the rest of the ingredients. cook for probably 4 or 5 minutes. Just depends on how long it takes for the moisture to cook off. So the seafood I'm adding today, I got some squid. I cleaned them and cut the squid bodies into rings and then have the tentacles in here as well and washed those really well. I got some crab meat, claw crab meat, so it'll be nice good chunks of crab. And then I have these clams in the pantry, the minced clams, so I'll add them in as well. The clams are in a bit of liquid, and I'm going to use that liquid to help flavor the risotto even more. So I'm going to kind of account for that when I start adding in the stock later so that I don't over moisturize it, so to speak. Okay, so this is starting to cook off nicely and thicken up. I'll show you what this looks like. You can smell the wine cooking off. All right, and then you can kind of see this texture here. Most of that liquid has cooked off and it's mostly just butter that is remaining. Okay. Now I'm going to add the tomato. I'm going to let that cook as well. Try to cook most of that liquid off, pardon me. Give that a stir. If you do all the prep work, risotto can come together pretty quickly in about 30 minutes or so. Okay, I'll let this cook a little bit more. Get my cans opened up. Show you what this looks like. Get an idea of the texture. So similarly to when we had the wine cook off, you're looking for it to be pretty thickened up at this point, but clearly the rice is still not cooked. So at this point, we're going to start adding the stock that's warmed here on this back pot, a half a cup at a time. Because I'm using these canned clams and I want to use some of that clam juice, I'm actually going to add the clam juice from the can first. Sorry guys, and then I will start to add the rest of the stock. And we'll add stock and stir, add stock and stir. You can use obviously fresh clams if you have them. I didn't have them around the house. Mussels, whatever you like. Okay, we stir this. So with risotto, you just add the liquid slowly, keep stirring. This is where the patience part comes in. You don't want to add more liquid until most of the liquid you've already added has been absorbed. Let it rest for a second, I'll start to stir it again. Okay, I'm going to let some more of this liquid cook off. And then I'll add some more broth. Okay. This already smells good. Let me get my measuring cup. So this is my seafood stock that's been warming. I'm going to get about a half a cup and slowly pour that in. The basics of a risotto are all the same. On the Zoom cooking class I did before recording this, I had one person that was actually doing this with chicken. So I actually had her pre-cook the chicken first with a bit of garlic, more or less cook the chicken through, take that out, and then start with these same initial steps of adding the olive oil, cooking the shallot or onion, adding in the butter, adding in the rice, letting that cook for about a minute or so, adding in the wine, the tomatoes, etc. And then at the point where I had everyone else in the class adding in the seafood, I had her add in her chicken and kind of finish it off in the same way. You can also obviously make a vegetarian risotto using vegetable stock. I like to make a butternut squash risotto. It's really good and has a nice color as well in the fall. So if you need any risotto tips other than what I'm showing you, by all means, let me know and I'll tell you what I know. Okay, I'll show you what this looks like. Bring it in. There we go. So you see it's starting to cook off a bit. I'm going to let it cook for probably another minute or two before adding the next half cup of stock. My plan is to probably add about 2 cups or so of stock, kind of check the texture of the rice, and if it's al dente, at that point I'll add in the seafood and finish it off with a final half cup of stock. And then it should pretty much be done, and at that point we take it off the heat and we'll add a little bit of fresh garlic, Parmesan, and parsley. So we're going to keep going here. Yes, stir. It starts to absorb the liquid really quickly in the beginning. You know, the rice grains are hungry, so to speak. Towards the end, when it's not really needing as much liquid, it doesn't absorb off as quickly, so something you can kind of look out for. Okay, grab another half cup. Add this in. So at this point we've added probably a quarter cup or so from the clams and a cup of the seafood stock. And check the texture of the rice. I'm imagining it's hard still. Oh, it's chewy. We'll definitely need some more stock after this, so let this continue to cook off. Stir and stir and stir. Let it rest for a second. Let's see who's watching. Catherine's watching. Hi, Catherine. Get my next half cup ready. So usually this part of the process, the adding the stock and stirring, takes about 20 minutes or so. But once you get through that part, it's pretty much done. So add in another half cup. I think I hear a baby.
Huh?
You're on Facebook Live, honey.
What?
I said you're on Facebook Live, honey.
Am I?
Well, you were just.
What do you mean?
I'm filming right now.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
You're fine. Oh, silly. Say hi to Barry, everybody. Okay, so we're at a cup and a half. Memory serves. Keep going. Do another zoom in at the food. Just curious where you got the squid. So I got the squid from, we have a Wegmans here. It's a local supermarket that's amazing. I think they're only on the East Coast, unfortunately. But you can go to like in St. Louis or even in Alton area, you can go to like the local fish market, a fishmonger, and you can just get the squid bodies if you don't like the tentacles. And so when I got them home, I rinsed them and then I used my kitchen shears and just cut them into rings. I will show you. Also, sometimes you can just find the calamari rings. Here you go. There you go, like this. You can find the calamari rings and tentacles frozen at like the local supermarket. Like Schnucks would have them, I would think, for sure. And then here's the tentacles. Look gross, taste delicious. My sister, I was cooking with her earlier today. She did scallops and crab, I believe. And then my friend Shannon's mom, Joan, did chicken. And then Fun Out Cheryl did, I think it was shrimp, just shrimp. So, you know, you can mix it up with whatever you can find. You had a hard time finding lobster, though. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And lobster's pretty popular. But, yeah, you can use the frozen stuff. You would just want to thaw it before cooking with it, because otherwise you'll end up adding more liquid to the risotto, and you might not want to. So if you can find it frozen, thaw it and let it go. We'll look into it, though. I'll see what kind of fishmongers we have in Alton. Let me check the texture on this before I add the next half cup. Okay, that's still pretty hard. So, we add some more stock. So we are at 2 cups. Now the only part of my seafood right now that's not cooked is the squid, and the squid will only take about 2 or 3 minutes or so to cook. And I hate overcooked squid, so I'm gonna be mindful of that before adding anything in. And pretty much add all that in at the end. So we'll see how much more of the seafood stock we need. Let this cook off. See what comments are coming in. Ooh, scallops and shrimp sound good. Yeah, we might not have any in Alton. My sister is in Bethalto, and yes, like I said, yes, she did scallops and I think a lump crab. So in the end, you just want about a pound of seafood, whatever mixture you want to do, or pound of meat in general. So doing seafood for Lent. honest, with this quarantine, I'm losing track of my days. I'm like, has Easter happened yet? What day is it? What's going on? Oh, wait, how much stock? More stock left. Good. Okay, let me check again. Okay, that is significantly more cooked than, a few minutes ago. So, I think I'm gonna add another half cup of stock. Check again, and then potentially add the crab in. Let's go here. It's looking nice and creamy. It has a nice glisten from the butter. At the end, we're going to add salt and pepper to taste. We don't know how much salt we're going to get off the seafood, so I wait till the end to salt it, but I'm actually going to add a little pepper now. Sometimes I also will add a bit of lemon to finish it off. I'm doing a seafood risotto. There we go. Okay, that's good. At the moment, I would describe the rice kernels as al dente. A little, maybe one step below al dente. So at this point, I'm going to add in the crab. This was an 8-ounce container crab meat. I'm going to break that in. Turn down the heat a little bit. Stir that through. Nice chunks of crab in there. New spoon. Okay. Stir that through. Add, should probably be my last half cup of stock. Turned up the heat a little bit again. And let me grab a knife. Okay, at this point I'm going to add in my clams. If you had raw clams, you would have added them in at the point where I added in the crab. And you would know when they were done because they'd open up. Okay, stir that through. Just going to let this kind of cook for about a minute or so. And then I'll add in the squid. Tasting again. Very good. And again, I have it on medium heat. So I'm going to let some of this cook off. End up adding some lemon. There. Okay, grab this. I'm gonna strain this. Hi, Lorelai. Thanks for watching. All right, so I'm just straining the calamari to make sure there's no residual liquid because we have enough liquid in the pan right now. In the pots, rather. Okay. I've added everything that I thought potentially would have a salty influence. The calamari shouldn't be too salty, so I'm going to add a little salt. Parmesan will add a bit of salt as well, so I didn't overdo it. Okay, at this point I'm going to add the calamari. This is what it looks like texture-wise. Good, good. Parmesan. Parsley. Parmesan. We're nearly done. Okay, I'm going to add in the calamari. Stir that through. There you go. And you'll know the calamari is cooked once the translucent rings become white in color. There you go. Starting to get there. This guy's done. Starting to stick at the bottom a little. Hey, Sarah. We're nearly done. It's almost risotto time. Okay, so at this point, the calamari is more or less cooked through. I'm gonna add in the garlic. It's about, I think it's like a clove or two. I like it garlicky. I'm gonna stir that through, get that heated up. Beautiful. Okay. Now I'm gonna actually turn off the heat, so I don't want anything to overcook. I'm gonna squeeze in some lemon juice, add in the Parmesan and the parsley, and we are ready. A little bit of lemon juice. All right, add in some Parmesan, about a half a cup. And some fresh parsley. And add some in now, and I'll reserve some for when I actually serve it up on the plate. Well, pasta bowl. And do a taste. That's delicious. I might add a little bit more salt, but overall it's good. Nice and creamy and delicious. All right, everybody. Enjoy your dinner. Happy Friday. I'll post some pictures when I actually plate it. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.